Welcome to the Fate of Ukraine channel. While NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg confirmed the statements of local officials that Russia had launched a new attack, the city of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine came under heavy artillery fire. Ukrainian army announced that its defense units, which have been protecting many fronts against Russia for months, are trying to repel new attacks from the ground. The chief of the General Staff of Ukraine announced that during the day, Ukrainian forces repelled 1 Russian attack in the Kharkiv region, 5 in Luhansk region and 6 in the Donetsk region, including Bakhmut. It is thought that Bakhmut, located in the Donetsk region, will prepare new ground for its attacks on Russia. Russian army wants to completely take control of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, which form the industrial center of Ukraine, the Donbass region, which is partially under control. We see how they are sending more troops and weapons and providing capabilities, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg told reporters in Brussels. Stoltenberg said he thought sending aircraft would be discussed, but that Ukraine needed ground support at the moment. Defense ministers of NATO countries will consider increasing military aid to Ukraine at the meeting to be held in Germany today. British intelligence shared realistic information about the new Russian attacks. According to the intelligence service, the Russian army was ordered to advance, but the Kremlin failed because it lacked combat strength. British Ministry of Defense stated that existing Russian assault brigades had been ordered to advance in most areas, but were unable to muster enough offensive combat forces to achieve a decisive effect on any front. According to UK intelligence, in recent days Wagner Group mercenaries have made small gains on the northern outskirts of the disputed Donbass town of Bakhmut, including the village of Chervona Ora. But there is an organized Ukrainian defense in the region, according to Russian Ministry of Defense. Tactical Russian assault troops south of town probably made little progress. Also, in the Kremenosvatov region of Luhansk Oblast, Russian forces are making constant offensive efforts. However, the Russians made great losses in order to an important breakthrough. Military experts also noted that there is a possibility of the Russian army advancing towards the Zarabets River, east of Kharkiv. In October and November last year, Ukrainian soldiers took control of the city of Kharkiv. Then the Ukrainian offensive troops opened a corridor from this region to the Luhansk region. After the new Russian attacks, Ukrainian soldiers started to create a large defense zone around Kharkiv. Local sources also stated that Kyiv has started to prepare defensive positions in all areas where attacks can be made. On the other hand, the Ukrainian army began to hit the mysterious systems behind the Russian positions. Local sources stated that the Ukrainian army destroyed Russia's new Palantin electronic warfare system. Ukrainian military also shared aerial footage showing the newly adopted Palantin system being destroyed in Ukrainian attacks. The 128th Separate Mountain Zakarpattia Brigade has officially stated that Palantin was destroyed by high-precision artillery fire. Palantin was designed primarily to detect and disrupt enemy radio communications and electronic intelligence systems in an area of 1,000 kilometers wide. The Russian army also uses the new electronic warfare system in the front area quite a lot. The Russian Ministry of Defense has announced that the system is used to individually target radio frequency objects, to mix bandwidth and specific frequency, and to detect opposing electronic warfare systems. Immediately after this system was hit, the Ukrainian General Staff also stated that they hit another electronic warfare system. Ukrainian forces shot down 2 Russian warplanes over the front line, according to a morning report by the Ukrainian General Staff. The 2 aircraft are said to be a Su-24M and a Su-25. At the strategic positions of the Russian army, which wanted to advance in the front zone, the Ukrainian Air Force carried out 15 attacks. Ukrainian troops hit a Russian command post, 7 troop clusters, 2 electronic warfare stations and an ammunition depot. On the other hand, the Russian army, which wants to carry out a major attack with the order of the Kremlin, continues to lose a lot in the front area. Currently, Ukrainian sources have stated that more than 139,000 Russian soldiers lost their lives in the war. The Russian army started to use a lot of armor in the eastern region. The Ukrainian army is hunting down the Russian battleships one by one. Currently, since the beginning of the war, the Ukrainian army has destroyed 3,286 Russian tanks and 6,500 armored personnel carriers. According to last-minute information, Russian warplanes were seen on the Polish border. NATO warplanes interfered with Russian planes in the region. Dutch F-35s on the borders of Poland removed 3 Russian aircraft from the area on the Polish border. The Dutch Ministry of Defense announced that 3 Russian planes flying near the Polish border were intercepted by Dutch NATO planes operating in this country. In a statement made by the ministry, Dutch F-35 planes took off from Kaliningrad on the coast of the Baltic Sea, which belonged to Russia, after 3 planes approached Poland in the NATO mission zone. Later, it was revealed that one of the approaching aircraft was an Il-20M Kut-type military aircraft, and the other 2 were Su-27 Flankers-type fighter jets. Thus, it became clear that Russian planes were intercepted by Dutch planes on NATO mission. Russian territory Kaliningrad borders Lithuania and Poland, which is a member of both NATO and the European Union. That's why the NATO field is constantly on alert. Dutch warplanes successfully returned to their military bases after doing their duty. On the other hand, Putin got on the armored train. Russian President Vladimir Putin has started using over-armored trains for long-distance journeys. After the outbreak of the war, Putin constantly uses armored trains, especially to his beloved home in Valdai. Putin started to prefer the armored train for security reasons. According to military experts, trains are more difficult to track, unlike airplanes. Because the analyst states that there is no service for tracking passenger trains in real time. In addition, the 2 residences visited by the Russian president are located on the Black Sea coast, where flights are restricted due to the war. Putin is trying very hard to get to his favorite home because of the war. The tension created by the Russian warplanes also negatively affected the Moldovan field. Moldova announced that it is temporarily closing its airspace against Russia's policies. Moldovan President Maia Sandu claimed in a statement that Russia had plans to overthrow the Sandu leadership and prevent its accession to the European Union. Russia also denied these statements and declared such allegations are completely unfounded. It was noted that shortly after Russia's statement, Moldova temporarily closed its airspace. In a statement made by Air Moldova, "Dear passengers, Moldovan airspace has been closed. We expect flights to resume." Following these developments, Moldova reopened its airspace to flights later in the day. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock said the government would decide to send fighter jets to Ukraine. While the debate on arms aid to Ukraine continues in Germany, Federal Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock said, "It is up to our government to send fighter jets to Ukraine." While NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg left open the door to sending fighter jets to Ukraine, a German minister said, "We, as the government, do not carry on such a discussion. There is no such issue on the agenda of our government," he said. Baerbock, who made an official visit to Finland and Sweden, also repeated his call for Turkey and Hungary to pave the way for these 2 countries to become full members of NATO. Deputy Foreign Minister Andrzej Melnik, former ambassador of Ukraine to Berlin, said that he was confident that Germany would send fighter jets to his country. Stating that Germany continues with Leopard tanks, which started with 5,000 helmets, and that Germans should be proud of this, Melnik said, "Now is the time to make a quick decision. Germany will send fighter jets." It takes time for Prime Minister Scholz to turn from no to yes. Ukraine has no time to wait. Whether we like it or not, this war will end at the front. Therefore, Germany should send fighter jets to Ukraine without delay. "We don't want German soldiers, we want fighter jets," he said. Less than a year before the end of the war, United States warned its citizens in Russia to leave the country. A statement that was on the agenda of the world came from the United States. The country's foreign ministry told its citizens to leave Russia immediately. The Russian side, on the other hand, responded to the statement made by the United States at jet speed. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that the call for American citizens to leave the country is not the first. The United States issued a similar warning in September 2022, after Russian leader Vladimir Putin's call for partial mobilization. On the other hand, another call came from France. French Ministry of Foreign Affairs asked its citizens to leave Belarus by land, due to Russia-Ukraine war and the closure of the airspace between the European Union countries and Belarus. In the statement made by the ministry, it was stated that the crossings at the borders of Lithuania and Latvia are open, while only the Tiraspol route is open as of February 13 for the transitions to Poland. During the war, a mine laid on the beach exploded, breaking the windows of a restaurant. A sea mine released in Sile, Istanbul, Turkey, created panic. A restaurant on the beach was damaged by a mine that hit the beach and exploded there. We have come to the end of another video. You can like the video to support us. By subscribing, you can easily follow new videos. See you.